Hi everyone. I wanted to go through how to do a learning experience plan. If you go into your week 3 and you look at the assignment, the social studies learning experience plan, the form is in here. And what I'd like you to do is I'm going to go into it, if I can get to it. And I'd like to show you how to complete these. This is the lesson planning form that you will use throughout our program. So it's used in this class, it'll be used in early language and literacy, it'll be used in your STEM class, it'll also be used in all of your practicums. So it's important that you learn how to complete this, and it's kind of a work in progress. We'll keep doing them throughout this course. You'll do at least 4 of them, and you'll also do them in your other classes. But to give you a frame of reference, even if you do practicum 2, you do some, but if you get to 3 and 4 practicum, or the advanced and intermediate practicum, or intermediate and advanced, you have to do 11 of them. So it's important to learn how to do them. So if you want to take a look at them, here is the top of it. So of course you're going to write your name. If you're not in a practicum placement, you can fill in the center placement with either your workplace, or you can make up. If you're not in a workplace and you don't have practicum, you could say John and Susie's Child Care or Happy Children or whatever. You're going to write the day that you write the activity plan. Don't worry about the day carried out. You don't actually have to do these activity plans with children. It's to learn how to write them. Eventually you will be doing them, but right now it's just the mechanics of it. So you're going to go to the curve, name the activity. That can be any name you want. You can make it up. It's just to kind of jog your memory that if you're going through, if you keep these activity plans, which we hope you do, that you're going through them and you see one that says making bread, and you remember that you made bread in this activity plan. I don't grade that, so obviously there's no points to it, but you have to do it. So then think of the curriculum area. For this activity, you're going to have a social studies goal, because it's a social studies activity. Throughout our experience with you, we're going to ask you to choose one curriculum area to concentrate on. And as far as goals, it's more appropriate to choose one area for your goal, because if you do, so let's say you did a weather activity where the children went out and looked at the clouds and talked about what they look like or something like that. That is social studies because it's something that children see that affects them, but it's also science. So we're going to if you were in real life, if you had a job, you could choose both areas. For us, we want it to be a social studies goal only. So we're going to have you circle one area. So social studies is what you're going to do. Then decide, how are you going to do this? Are you going to do it in a large group? Are you going to do it in a small group? Or are you going to do it during free play? So let me think of one. So I'm going to do, since we've been talking about family trees, I think I'm going to say, I'm going to do one, or no, you know what, I'm not going to do it because that might I don't want to give away some of the answers. I'm going to say, let's do fire trucks, create, or a painting that has colors of fire. That's what I'll do. A painting that has all sorts of colors. That is to spark their thoughts about fire, what fire looks like. And for that activity, I would probably say it would be either a small group or an activity during free play. So I'd set it up at the table, and some centers, they require children to come over in groups. Not my favorite thing, but that's the way it works. I would set it up during free play and let them choose it. So for me, I would choose activity during free play. Age of the children, you get to choose. I would keep it under age 6 because that's more appropriate. This is more appropriate for preschool learning plans. Although you probably do it up to 8. So you can choose. The time of day, so you can, if you don't actually have a classroom, you can make that up. But if you do have a classroom, I'd like you to process when you would have it. And then think about how many children you would have completing it at a time. So if I were going to do it during free play, I would probably say that I set up the table so 4 children could do it at a time, or 6, or how many ever I thought would be able to do it. And then where would it take place? So for my activity, I would say the tables. and then what made you think of doing this activity? So right now if you're not working with children, you're gonna make this up and think about what might spark you to talk about this. And if I said we were talking about community helpers and we were talking about firefighters and how that their job is to put out fires, I would put that we were talking about firefighters and a child brought up how hot fires are, something like that. Okay, so the Wisconsin Model Learning Standards. Right now, if you are in Practicum 1, you will be doing Wisconsin Model Learning Standards training. You also might have already had this training. If you have not had this training, and even if you're in Practicum 1 and you haven't had it yet, just leave it blank. Eventually, I'll tell you what one to use, or you can figure that out. You'll eventually have to figure out on all of them, but don't worry about leaving that. The concept is the idea of what it is you want them to learn. So with a fire, part of it is creativity because it would be painting, but part of it might be the colors. Colors determine heat. So, if you have blue fire, it's the hottest fire. If you want to teach them that, that would be that. Or you could say danger fire is dangerous, something like that. The vocabulary is the words that you would use in the activity. So as part of your over here, the teacher's role, some of the things you might say. I might say levels of heat. So, and there's probably some technical words that I might introduce them. We always try to teach children new words. Because I just thought of the activity, I didn't think of any. But you might want to say like intensity or extreme would be different words for children. And you just list the words that you're going to say to them that might be new over here in this activity. We'll get to this part of the activity now. Personal goals. So a personal goal, and you're going to get, a lot of people are going to get this wrong. This is a goal for you as a teacher. It is not a goal that you have for the children. It's not, I want the children to understand what temperature fire is. It's not. It's a goal for you for your teaching. I want to make sure that I make eye contact with all the children. I want to slow down when I do this activity. I want to make sure that I use all their names, something along that lines. Materials needed. This is just a list of exactly what you need. And I'm going to look to make sure that you've processed what you need. So paint, paper, paintbrushes, cover the table, or table cover, things like that. So go over here, teacher preparation needed before the activity. So you would need to make the paint, you'd need to cut the paper, you would need to cover the table. Make sure you process exactly what it is you need to do before the activity. Transition planning, so how the children will get to the learning experience. So if let's say the children are in the middle of free play, and I was going to start the transition to group time to explain the activity. What would be the signal, or how would they get to the table to do the activity? So think about how you get them. So if I said, if I was talking about this activity and I was talking about it in group time in the morning and I set it up and that was ready, I might have a bell that I would ring to let them know that the activity was ready. So think about that. Or if I was going to if I was going to do it as the entire group, I would think about what I would do to get them where I wanted them to be. So in order to get over to the table, I want you to all walk like this. Motivation is how, when you talk about the activity, you talk about foreshadowing the activity. For the children to, and you don't just sit down and say, okay, we're going to paint, go for it. You would say, I've got some colors here. Let's take a look at them. What color is this? Red. What color is this? Orange. That kind of thing. And then, so it's how you introduce the concept. And then they're going to start the activity. So you're going to get to what is the teacher's role. So during the experience, what are you going to do? So you're going to be sitting there, they're going to be painting. So using quotes, you would say things like, quote, I see that you're putting a lot of red. Do you remember what red means? End quote. You could say, I am going to walk around to make sure they're all, engaging in other quotes that you would say. You need to think of things that you would say to them to encourage them to keep painting. What will the children do during the learning experience? So what you would say is that the children would sit down and they would paint whatever using the colors they want, they would create on the paper. That would be their experience, and then at the end of the activity, it would be their job to take the painting out into the hall to dry or whatever. So the closing remarks is when you're finished with all of the children doing the painting, then you would say to them, tell me about what we did in a group time or something. Tell me, what did we do today? What did we paint? What colors were there? What do they mean? So that's reviewing what they did. It's shown that children learn best if things are introduced and they can foreshadow that they do it, and then they reflect on what it is. They have a better chance of remembering it. Then the transition would be what are they gonna do when they're finished and then go to the next activity. So if you think about the fact that you're finished with the activity, the child gets up and they're finished, they're gonna go over and wash their hands and they get to choose what they wanna do. So they're gonna transition themselves. If you're doing a group time, you need to think about, okay, how am I gonna get them? We're at a group time. You don't just say group time over, go, leave. You're gonna say something like, when I call your name, I want you to answer the question, what is your favorite color in the painting that we made? Or something like that. That way it's reflecting and it's getting them, and then they can get up and go make a choice or whatever. So things to think about. If you have any question about these, just remember there's a learning curve, especially with the first one. I'll just give you feedback and then we'll just keep working on them. Also, reach out to me if you have any questions.